Ngakia's got more goals and assists so far this season than he has done before, so why is he still polarising opinion? Steve says he's
I
a
think you're on mute,
woeful...
Mark, mate. For me.
Am I? Oh, right, and we are live. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Steve says he's a woeful player who pulls... We've lost Luke. Welcome to Hornets Walk. Steve says he's a woeful player who pulls out one decent game in a lifetime, will predominantly be caught out on the wrong side of his marker. He can't head the ball, and he has zero positional awareness. Other fans are saying he's one of the first names on the team sheet these days, and deservedly so. What is your opinion? We've got Rio, Luke, and Aaron back with us this week. It's fresh back from watching Watford put 3 past Norwich, a much better second half performance. Coming up this week, then, we're going to look back on that Norwich game. Who impressed? We're also talking about why does Tom Ince still polarise opinion as well. We're also talking about what's your favourite last-minute winner post 90 minutes, as the Championship sees more goals in this scored in that era than ever before. We're also reflecting on the World Cup draw as well. Which Watford player do we think we're going to be hearing the most of in the commentaries in next summer? And we're up to letter I, of course, for our A to Z. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you here. How are we doing, fellas? Luke, you got all your fixtures sorted for the World Cup? Yeah, you've sorted out where you're going?
Yep, I think we're going to do the first 2 group games, and then from the round of 16 onwards, hopefully. We're just waiting for the ticket price to be finalised because they're already quite high. But yeah, no, looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Right, let's get into it then, shall we? Why does Ngakia polarise opinion, Luke, so much, and where do you stand on him? Is he a good player, or is he not?
I'm on the other side of that. Most weeks I'm actually sort of not saying he's been that great, to be honest with you. I know he got an assist for a cross the other day, but I'm one who, and if you could ask my friends who I go with, I always complain about his crossing. I think it's always terrible. I think he hasn't gives that much element to us sometimes, and I think he's quite a predictable player to watch. I don't know how no one clocks when he cuts in quite a lot. He does the fake shot. It's like I know. Surely the left wingers are left backs are watching what he's doing, because it's we can see up from a mile away, and I hope I'm not the only Watford fan who's doing that. I can tell by Ria's reaction. I'm not, but yeah, I think he's a bit sort of 50-50, but if he can start crossing more balls like that, I'm more than happy to sing his praises again.
Rio, where do you sit on this debate?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same camp as Luke. I think he's been much better this season, but people are probably only saying that because he's not injured, whereas he usually is. I think he's got a really good link up with Kieran Guard. I think that's maybe now 4 assists for him. He got one against Derby, Middlesbrough yesterday, and we've also got good link up with Bola and Mama. They've combined for a few goals. But yeah, I think Ngakia's got better going forward. He's a very good one-on-one defender, but he makes so many mistakes for goals, whether it's misplaced passes. There was one against Birmingham which should have cost us. He steps out of position against like Ipswich, and yeah, he loses concentration a bit, but I think he's improved this season.
Yeah, what's been down to that improvement? Is he just playing with better players this season, or is it coaching? What do you think? Because he's always been labelled as his positional play being a bit off, Luke. What would you put that down to?
I think he's a better attacking player than defender. I think personally, if I wanted to get the best out of him, I'd play him in a back 3 where he could play a lot more higher up the pitch and be set up there. Personally, I think we've seen a lot more less better performances from him when he has been playing as a right back. But yeah, I do think he's been having more improvement as he has been, straight over the last few years. Not even just the injuries, but I think when he has had the performances, it's not been great. But I think we're starting to find a sort of how he works in his team.
Yeah, brilliant. Welcome, Aaron, to this debate. We'll jump in a second. Get your thoughts ready on Ngakia, please. Good player or not? Before we throw Aaron into that, makes us a massive thank you to everyone who's been commenting and helping us grow this little channel as well. We're looking for 250 subs. Can you help us get there this week? Massive thank you last week to the Hunter, Daniel J is back, Daniel Jefferson's back, SC88 and Helen. Great comments as well. Last week, guys, we did H and we forgot Herman Hreiderson.
Helgeson, yeah.
Heide Helgeson, sorry. Yeah. Can you believe that we missed that? A double H? Unbelievable. But thank you for all your support. I really massively appreciate it. And if you haven't yet subbed, we massively appreciate it. And Rio, you've got a fan on today. Levi Matlock is shouting out Rio. There we go. Okay. Right, Aaron Ngakia, good player or not?
Do you know what? I do think I lean on the side of that he's having a decent season. I think his time at Watford's been so mixed. He's had a lot of long spells out of injury. Then he's had periods where he's sort of been, a bit of the sort of scapegoat because he wasn't putting in good performances at a time when we were pretty bad. But I think for the most part of this season, I've been pretty impressed with him. I think his one-on-one defending is still the part of his game that is either really, really good or non-existent. I think if he can be more consistent in his one-on-one defending, he'll fly. But I think going forward, where he's really excelled, I used to have a bit of a gripe with him that he didn't really use his weaker foot and that his deliveries were always rubbish. But that's totally changed. I mean, the ball he whips into Luca for the second goal on Saturday was, sublime. You don't get many better crosses than that. So yeah, I'd lean on the side of a good player. I think he won Player of the Month this month as well. So yeah, fair play to him. If he can keep that up, then I think less of us are starting to worry so much about the whole right back position, which was obviously a big talking point when we came into the season.
Let's look at some social media takes from Kieran. Says 2 goals, 4 assists, and some decent defending with some atrocious defending. He is still a reason why he gets picked ahead of Patrice, playing with a back 4, and every player in the squad makes mistakes. Yeah, Luke, is he right? Is he miles ahead of Patrice?
The thing is, I couldn't even tell you got 2 goals, 4 assists. I know you got those, especially the assists. I know the 2 goals were sort of out of the blue. But when we have seen Patrice, who we've heard big things about him, how good he is going forward, we haven't really been that astounded by him. And I think that's why Ngakia is getting the minutes, because we haven't seen a strong enough performance from Patrice to give him that reason as to why Ngakia should be dropped. And the numbers don't lie. 2 goals, 4 assists, and a great assist the other day. I think that's the reason why he's getting the minutes for sure.
Yeah. Now we're doing letter I in A to Z later on, and just on cue, of course, this weekend, Mr. Tom Ince pops up with his contribution to hopefully maybe justify maybe his selection later on at the end of this discussion. Andrew here says Tom Ince is one of the most misunderstood Championship players ever. I've never seen him give less than 100% for Watford. Why is he? Why is some fans still not keen on him? Oh, you're muted, mate.
My bad.
There we go.
Yeah, while he does give 100%, I do think there's just this sort of thing around him that he should only really be playing at this point when those main players are out. Like we are at the minute, we've got like 2 of the better wingers in our squad gone. Now you can see a reason for him to play more. I think the gripe was that particularly under Val, he was playing a lot more than we thought he should have, and he was taking minutes off of people like Vata, and obviously Bar got loaned out that year, so people were seeing as like, oh, we've got these young players, and we're playing Tom Ince over him, and I think that's where a lot of sort of the gripe has come there. Now that he has actually taken more of that leader in the squad, but bit part player, as Sissoko now is too, I think you can kind of be on side of it more, and I think the same might happen with Sissoko if he's sticking around, because now with them coming on sort of late in games or coming on when players are injured, like you can justify their involvement. Whereas before it was like, why is Tom Ince starting over these young players that we paid money for and want to develop?
Thank you, Matt, for getting involved in the show. Most appreciated. I think Ngakia is having his best season yet of his career for Watford. Yeah, absolutely.
Not hard.
Now. Yeah, staying on Tom Ince, though, Malk says to the previous comment, I totally agree. I've been banging the same drum for ages. Tom Ince actually knows what he's doing on a football pitch, which is vital when you have the youngest squad in the league. I used to hate the bloke, but I've been a big fan since he come to us. Yeah, he doesn't have many fans of many of the clubs he's played for, Rio. Why do you think that is?
Would you say he doesn't have many fans of other clubs he's played for?
Yeah.
Well, he's been about quite a lot of places, and I don't think his dad's the best liked, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't mind him. As Aaron said, coming off the bench, seeing it out, perfect. Even the same with Sissoko. There was a moment on Saturday, actually, where maybe he could have gone for goal, but instead he just calmed it down, not kept it near the corner flag, but just instead of making it a basketball match, he just kept the tempo of it. Whereas maybe if we had a younger player, they'd try and beat on everyone, such as Iran Kunda, lose the ball, and then our midfield splits open and therefore on goal. He keeps it steady. I don't mind him. I think it's the last year of his contract, but yeah, if he's a sub option, perfect. Especially as we've got one of the youngest squad in the leagues, hence why we probably make so many mistakes again. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's have a chat about that Norwich game, shall we, with the three of you for a second. This was one take from Joe. It says it was 3 points, but horrendous football. Pollock was immense the second half, to be fair. We need Alain to be starting over Caben. Next game, a must win. We'll come on to talk about Sheffield Wednesday in a minute. Luke, do you agree with those points there?
I think there was moments where we didn't deserve it, to be fair, but for me, as long as we get a win and we don't play good football, I think that's actually quite encouraging signs, because it shows that we've got that little bit of extra within the side. And I think to be a top 6 team that we believe that we could potentially be, end of the day, everything's not going to go right. We're not going to start off well, and we didn't. And we know that's been a problem for a long time. But again, I know we're talking about that. We've came back from behind again. And I think that's something that we should actually be quite happy with. To the fact that we don't go 1-0 down and we think, oh God, here we go again. I think that's something like you've started to see in the atmosphere as well when we go 1-0 down. A lot of what fans sort of give encouragement straight away. And I think we know that this squad can get back into games. I think that's what I'm finding really important, that we've got the fight to get to it. I know even Javi said that we didn't start how we wanted, and hopefully we can change that tomorrow and have a fast start. But as long as we're getting the 3 points at the moment, if we're not playing at 100%, I think it's still really encouraging for me to show that the squad has, the fight to get back into it.
Yeah. Rio, what did you make of Norwich? Did you think overall the draw was a fair result?
Yeah, I'd probably say a draw. I don't think they were that bad. I mean, I think they should have had a penalty early on. It was, I think it might have been Caben. He pulled back Ngakia, and I sit right in the view of it. I don't know why Sargent wasn't appealing. And yeah, the 4-4-2 system, it really didn't work first half. They were getting through us so easily. The banker Sargent to score, took my amputee teammate to the game, and I said bet on over 3 goals and Sargent to score first. Came in. But yeah, second half we were better, more front foot. We took Elaine off, and we took Caben off, and we don't concede and we win the game. So hopefully Elaine's going to be a mainstay and start against Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow. But yeah, Norwich did have chances on the counter attack, so I'm still not convinced about our defending, but I think going forward we were very good.
Okay. Aaron, you put this tweet out on the weekend. Yeah, my favourite player in the squad right now proves to be a shrewd signing. Yes, explain yourself.
I just think he's been absolutely brilliant. When we signed him, I thought, okay, decent squad player, can play fullback and can play centre back. He's one of I never expected him to become this mainstay in the defence, but I guess with Caleb Wiley's injury, he sort of had to be. But you wouldn't have thought he was signed as sort of a squad player, because what he brings, especially on that left-hand side, it doesn't matter who the winger is, he links up with them perfectly. He's great at coming inside and sort of keeping the ball ticking that way, almost playing as like a inside fullback, but yet still comes down the wing. And I mean, we saw it in the goal we scored in Bristol City. He's had runs similars in the game like Derby and Birmingham, but then he seems to just find this space and become almost a winger. Like he is literally a Swiss Army knife of a footballer. In the game, he plays 4 different positions, and yeah, I can't sing his praises high enough. Not to mention, again, like Ngakia has an absolute whip on him. Has got the assist for Tom Ince's goal. If it was me picking player of the month, I'd have picked him. I just think he's been brilliant, and he gives me those 2021 Ken Sema vibes. Like we had him down that left hand side that season. He was brilliant, and you all know that I love King Ken. So yeah, I can't praise Boller enough, and I hope he keeps it up.
It's amazing to actually have a good left back after having Jamal Lewis. Who was the other one? Larucci last year, Ashraf Lazar. Yeah. Don't get me started.
Okay. 2 games this week, another 2 games then coming fast for us. Sheffield Wednesday and Wrexham. We'll talk about Wrexham in a minute. Sheffield Wednesday first, Luke. You've got a lot in common with them, given that you've both had, ownership which is questionable and investment into the squad has been a ride. Do you have sympathies for your opponents Tuesday night?
Yeah, of course. I think all football fans really should, probably not obviously Sheffield United, but I think I do feel sorry for them, because I'd hate to be in that situation, especially just when you've got the points deduction on top of everything else as well. I think the way the club's been handled is appalling. But I know the things have been sort of sorted now a little bit, where they know fans are sort of starting to come back now. But it must be just quite demoralising, because they know they're already down most likely, unless a miracle happens. But I think fair play to the supporters to go still midweek, week in, week out, to support them when they're in this situation on minus 10 points, pretty much relegated, and haven't got a side who's really that strong within this league. In terms of the game itself, I do think this should be as not easy to win, but it should be. If we want to be top 6, we have to win this game, and we should be able to do it with more confidence, I'd say. I'll be a bit disappointed if we only just get over the line. I think this is where we can start to show how strong we are as a side.
What about Wrexham then, Aaron? I mean, you've only played them 20 times in your history. The last time was in League Division 2 in '98. Have you been? What's your take on the fairy tale of Wrexham? Do you buy into it, or are you a little bit more cynical?
More cynical, but I think anyone that's not a Wrexham fan kind of is. It's one of those. If that was someone coming into Watford, buying Watford, putting all that money in, then I'd have a completely different tune, wouldn't I? So, yeah, great for them. I'm not really bothered about it. To me, they're just obviously another Championship football team that we need to try and beat and get points from. So, yeah, they'll have all the Sky cameras on them. I said the other night when we were at Birmingham, I was like, I'm so actually glad I'm at this game, getting absolutely chucked it down on, because you're sitting at home and listening to Sky ramble on about everything about Tom Brady's Birmingham the whole game would have finished me off. So I think it'd probably be the same at Wrexham. If that was ever going to be on TV, I'd be glad I'm going to it.
Okay. You got tickets? Any of you going?
Yeah,
We're all going.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, right.
Hola.
Brilliant, right, okay. There's some pictures for me. Right. Now, the Championship this season so far has shown that it's had more last-minute goals scored post 90 minutes than any other Championship season up to this point. So it's got us thinking, what's the best ever 90th minute plus goal that Watford have scored? There's some obvious ones here, I'm sure. But now help us out with this in the comments. Of course, please be watching this live. We'd love to put some of these on the screen, or comment below for us. What's the best one you've seen, Rio?
For me, obviously, Portsmouth last year was good, but it has to be, since we've been back in the Championship, Barrio's goal against Middlesbrough on the 100th anniversary of Vicarage Road, I think. It was last minute. I think João Pedro had one of the best games you'd see it from a Championship player. We went 1-0 down early on, that Muniz scored, but yeah, it was absolute carnage. And God, we had Rob Edwards back then, who's a controversial figure now and managed Luton to promotion in the same season.
Bill, Luke?
It's got to be the Deeney goal. I was luckily around for that. So I remember I was in the family stand for that game. I was actually right behind the goal where Knockout took the penalty, and all I remember is actually watching it through my eyes, the penalty save, and then all I remember is just a flare in the rookery afterwards. I don't think you might ever top that goal just for everything.
Yeah, Aaron.
Yeah, well, I'll play the game of I can't pick the Deeney goal. So if it's not the Deeney goal, it's 2017-18 season 1-0 against Arsenal. Tom Cleverley.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Took the roof off the place.
Yeah, that's good.
Chance. Okay. Right then, also the World Cup draw since we last chatted, of course, as well. It's got us thinking, which Watford player do you think we might be hearing the most about next summer? An open question to you all.
Well, actually, the Republic of Dominican of Congo are in the qualifiers. I'm not sure who their potential group is, but Edo Kayembe and Ngakia could be playing against Vinicius, for example. That'd be funny. I don't think we've got any other players going, do we?
We've got Iran
Kunda.
Yeah,
and
then potentially loser if he is even a Watford player by the time next year.
Yeah,
Why?
the Moroccan fans are fuming that he's not involved. I saw their squad list, and I know he wasn't in it. So I picked in the comments, and so many of them are like, "Where is loser?" So they've obviously kept tabs, the Moroccan football fans. So by the time the World Cup rolls around, he could easily be in that squad.
Yeah, brilliant. Finally, this week, then we're doing the A to Z of Watford. We're up to letter I. We had some good suggestions for H last week. Aaron, did we miss any H's from you before we get to I?
Who did you choose in the end?
Was it Hoyt? Did we put Hoyt in?
I chose Courtney House.
Oh, that's right.
Wow, Courtney House. Blimey, I'm trying to just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
No, there's not. Holobas.
Ida Helderson, yeah.
Holobas.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I is easy, guys.
Okay, go for it.
It has to be a Gallo, yeah?
Tom Ince.
Yep.
No, it's got to be Odi and Gallo. I mean, that Premier League season when we come up, he just made it all the more exciting. And I'll never forget that Liverpool game. I remember
Okay.
I rocked up late when Ake scored, and then he just took control, didn't he, Igalo? So yeah, it's got to be Igalo.
And Arsenal away, where quarter final of the FA Cup scored that first goal, didn't he? That was good.
Okay. Any others notable mentions at all?
I got a note we'll mention quickly, just for a player as when I was sort of growing up. I don't know why me and my mates just used to have a joke about him, but Christian Malumo. He's a really nice bloke, because I remember he used to go to open days and he was there every year. He was a great bloke.
Well, right, we shall leave it there then, because we've got to go find out who Watford will be playing in the third round of the FA Cup. Thank you, Josh. You just reminded us. Do you realise the FA Cup shows are now? Yeah, we do. We are going to finish. You can run downstairs and go and watch it. Right, cheers, Josh. Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Levi, for commenting. Thank you three for watching. Catch you next week after Sheffield Wednesday and Wrexham. 6 points for the Hornets this week. Nice and easy. See you next week. Thanks for watching.
Quickly run downstairs.